Hello and welcome. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. I am Snehi Shah. This is a show where we'll be taking you through all the big buzzers in today's trading session, tell you what's keeping these stocks in focus today, and also bring on our technical expert to give you a tech check on the charts for some of these stocks. Before we do that, merits to take a look at the market right now. We're holding firmly around the 23,600 mark, so looking good, almost at the day's highest point for the Nifty, a 0.5% uptick coming in on an intraday basis, and a 200-point uptick coming in from the day's lowest point is this case for the Nifty 50 right now. Let's pull up the Sensex because good recovery coming in on the Sensex as well, a 0.5% uptick there, and almost at the day's highest point is where the Sensex is as well. Now, Nifty Bank has been doing very well for itself ever since the get-go. Broader markets are also holding up well, but Nifty Bank, it's almost an 0.8% uptick coming in for Nifty Bank, continues to be at the day's highest point, looking good over there. Let's pull up the broader markets because they're largely underperforming the kind of moves that we're seeing from the benchmarks coming today, but nonetheless in the green with a very mild hint of a positive bias is the mid-cap index. Small cap is doing pretty well, 0.6% uptick coming in at the day's highest point is where the small cap index is right now. Let's take a look at some sectoral gainers and losers today. PSU Bank, they continue to be the big winners in today's trade. Case in point, Bank of Baroda, that's up 3%, Union Bank, PNB, Central Bank, all of these stocks are holding up firmly. So 1.2% uptick on PSU banks, Media, Nifty Bank, Energy, FMCG, IT, Realty, Metal. All of these are your gainers in today's trade. However, on the flip side, you have Nifty Pharma and Auto that continue to languish in today's trading session, a 1% cut coming in on both of these external facing sectors. Of course, auto on the back of that Trump 25% tariff announcement, and pharma also on the back of the tariff play that is at loom for this sector, given that we're close to that 2nd April deadline, and pharma is largely an external facing sector as well. That's what the market breadth is shaping up to be like right now, and we'll be highlighting some other gainers and losers in today's trade. On that note, let's also welcome on board Ashish Kayal, founder and CEO of Wave Strategy Advisors, on the technicals, and from our in-house research team on the fundamentals, we have Gaurav joining us. Good afternoon to both you gentlemen. Ashish, coming to you, you've picked out HDFC Life as your first stock for us. It's a stock we don't usually discuss very frequently. Tell us what's the outlook for this one, because when I take a look at HDFC Life's charts, last 6 months it's been very flat with a slight cut coming in. Year to date also the stock has not done all that much. Last 1 year also very nominal moves coming in. Do you see the rally for this stock? Do you see some speed, some momentum catch up on this stock now going ahead? Do you believe that we have some good moves in store for this one on the charts?
Hi, afternoon to you and all the viewers. If you look at HDFC Life, I think the stock has not done much in the year, but if you look at in the month of March, it has exceptionally outperformed. The stock was trading around 630 and now it is trading around 682 levels on the upside. So the overall tone has turned bullish, and we can clearly see after the sharp rise, there is a 3 days of a flat kind of a pattern, and the stock is trying to break out from that flat pattern. So the upside expectation target is around 730 levels, which is a continuation pattern, and we can maintain a stop loss at the low of yesterday, which is around 666 levels.
Okay, 666 levels is a stop loss to watch out for in HDFC Life. Let's pull up the stock of Aadhar Housing Finance. That's a stock that's doing very well in today's trading session, and this is on the back of a positive brokerage note coming in from DAM Capital this morning. The stock is up with gains of more than 4% as we speak. DAM Capital has initiated a buy rating on the stock with a target price of 525 rupees per share, which is more than 100 rupees higher than where the stock is right now. So quite significant upside is the target coming in from DAM Capital, and they believe that the stock is best placed in terms of geographic granularity among affordable payers, and more holistic mix of sourcing channels are two key areas where Aadhar scores better versus its industry counterparts. The stock is trading at 2x on FY27 book and 13x on FY27 earnings growth target of 20 to 22%, which is not very high, but that would ensure calibrated use of its different sourcing channels and thereby ensure control over quality. They expect the return on equity to be anywhere between 16 to 17% higher than the FY25, FY27 range, and that could peak at 18% before the next raise kicks in. So that's the take coming in from DAM Capital on Aadhar Housing Finance. Positive up move, that stock is higher by 4.2%. But Ashish, coming to you, let's talk about a defense name, and Mazgaon Dock has been in focus for quite some time now on the back of the moves that the stock has been seeing. Year to date, the stock is up 20% already. Last 1 year, the stock has more than doubled its share price. Tell us what's the outlook going ahead. Now, the kind of rally that the stock has seen, do we believe that we are in store for some consolidation, or do you believe this positive up move to continue for Mazgaon Dock?
If you look at Mascot Doc, the stock has outperformed for quite some time, and it has been consolidating already for almost 8 to 9 months. The previous peak was made in the month of June or July last year, which was around the levels of 2,900, and the stock is still at 2,700. So there has been a consolidation, more like a time correction rather than a price correction, and we can expect the stock to give a breakout on the upside. The target is going to be around 3,200 over near term, and on the downside one can maintain a support level of around 2,600.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Mascot Doc. And Gaurav, coming to you, let's talk about one of the biggest losers, and in fact the biggest loser on Nifty coming today, that's Tata Motors. The stock has been spooked ever since this 25% tariff announcement. Tell us what's leading to such a drastic reaction on the stock today.
Well, yes, Tata Motors is in focus, and it is actually under pressure today, and the reason being that Trump has now announced that he will be applying around 25% tariffs on the import of auto and auto ancillaries to USA. Now, when we talk about Tata Motors, specifically when we talk about the entire auto segment, although Indian automotors, specifically the passenger vehicle players, do not have a large share of exports to USA, Tata Motors is going to get impacted because of the JLR share. When we talk about JLR, around 30% of the total revenue comes from the USA segment, and let's also not forget that JLR also has a manufacturing capacity at Europe as well as China, which are a few countries which will get impacted adversely if the 25% tariffs are imposed. Other than that, when we talk about the overall import scenario for USA, specifically Mexico, Japan and South Korea are the countries from where USA import massively. But at the same time, when we look at Tata Motors, because of the share of JLR that will get impacted, we are seeing a sharp downtick in this counter. In fact, it opened with 5% losses and it is still trading at a loss of more than 5%. So definitely on the back of this news, we will be watching out on Tata Motors.
Okay, all eyes are going to be on Tata Motors, and especially today because the kind of move that the stock is seeing is quite drastic following that announcement coming in from the US. But let's talk about NBCC. This stock is also doing pretty okay in today's trade. They've signed a memorandum of understanding with Mahatma Phule Renewable Energy and Infratech Limited to jointly undertake consultancy, EPC, fee-based as well as redevelopment projects across Maharashtra. The agreement that was signed yesterday marks NBCC's first major foray into the redevelopment segment in Maharashtra following its success in transforming Delhi's urban landscape. The partnership will focus on key infra projects including cluster development in Thane, data centers, renewable energy initiatives, slum rehabilitation in the MMR region and residential projects under the PMAY, that's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme. So quite positive news flow coming in for NBCC. That stock is up almost 2% as we speak. Rashish, coming to you, Britannia is a stock that you've picked out. And you know, while today everybody has been talking about Zomato and Jio Financial, it's BPCL and Britannia that have been left out from the conversation now that they're exiting the entire Nifty 50 pack. Technically, give us a sense of what you're making on Britannia for the charts, because last 6 months it's been a more than 20% cut coming in on the share price. Fundamentally, Q3 numbers have been stellar for Britannia, but technically and also on the back of this Nifty 50 rejig, tell us how you are viewing Britannia on the charts now.
See, Britannia has already shown a very sharp correction from 6,400, made a low around the levels of 4,500 on the downside, and from there it is showing some kind of a green shoot. So I think the worst might be behind us for this FMCG measure, and we can expect it to give a positive breakout. It gave a false breakdown, trapped the late sellers, and I think it's going to reverse back on the upside. So I'm optimistic for Britannia. I'm expecting it to reach towards the level of 5,200 over the medium term perspective, and on the downside one can maintain a stop loss for the stock at around 4,700.
Okay, so those are the levels to watch out for on Britannia. That's soon going to be leaving the Nifty 50 index at around 3 p.m. today. But on that note, we'll slip into a very short break on this edition of Market Fatafat and keep it going with more big buzzers in today's trade just on the other side in return, so you don't go anywhere. Hi there, welcome back to Market Fatafat. Let's talk about some newsmakers in today's trading session. And Gaurav, coming to you, BSC is the stock that you've picked out for us. Tell us why it has made it to your radar.
Yes, BSC is in focus, and the reason being that company is going to hold its board meeting. Now, let's not forget the date. It is on 30th of March, where company will be considering bonus shares which will be issued to the shareholders. Now, if we look at the history of BSC, let's not forget that this will be the second time when BSC will be giving the bonus issue. The last time they gave the bonus issue was in 2017 when the company declared get bonus issue somewhere in the ratio of 2:1. Now the record date for the proposed bonus share has not been disclosed yet, but on the back of the news flow that BSE might come up with the bonus issue, this stock is actually buzzing in trade. Let's not also forget that this stock has always been volatile for the last 1 month because of the news flow, but given that today's news flow, it is up in trade almost at around 5% gains. So on the back of this news flow, watching out on BSE.
As on BSE and this meeting where we'll be mulling the bonus, and that ratio is also going to be important to watch out for basis what announcement they make. But Ashish, coming to you, you've picked out granules for us on the charts. Last 6 months, it's a 10 to 13% cut coming in. Year to date, it's a negative move. Last 1 year, it's given a very nominal 12% uptick on the stock price. Tell us what's the outlook coming in for granules, and do you believe that this year, given the kind of cuts that this has seen, the remainder of 2025 could be better for this stock in terms of the momentum it has on the charts?
No, if I look at granules, I'm not very optimistic because the stock showed a minor pullback on the upside, faced a stiff resistance around 515 levels and has reversed back on the downside. So there is a very stiff resistance which is placed around 515, 520. So unless that is broken, I think the stock can again move down lower towards the level of 440. See, the overall tone is sell on rise for granules India, and downside we can expect 440 as the levels, and on the upside 515 is the major hurdle.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on granules. Let's talk about Trent. That's the stock that's in focus in today's trading session, and that's on the back of a note coming in from Macquarie. They've initiated coverage with an outperform rating with a target price of 7,000 rupees. That's a roughly 35% upside to where the stock is right now. What's also more optimistic is that they've given a bull case target price of 10,000 rupees per share. That's quite a positive stance coming in from Macquarie on Trent. They believe that this is a leading performance across its Asian peers, and the expansion through owned and franchise stores have aided its performance. Over FY23 to 25, Trent has seen a 45% sales CAGR and steady margin expansion and 3x ROCE expansion to 30%. Trent leads fashion retailers in Asia with superior inventory days and return profile. They believe that Trent's supply chain strengths and design capabilities are difficult to replicate, and they see scope to expand. Zudio's current store count is at 700 compared to Reliance Trend's 2,000 plus stores, so they believe that significant headroom for Zudio to grow more. Competitive concerns about Shein's entry into the Indian market are overblown, and they expect gradual reduction in losses for Star Bazaar as well. They see current cyclical weakness in the consumer sentiment as an attractive entry opportunity into Trent. Very positive note coming in from Macquarie on Trent. The stock is higher by 1.7% as we speak. But Ashish, once again, you've picked out Trend on the charts for us. Now, fundamentally, the stock has been spooked, recently. But we seem to be seeing some turnaround coming in for Trend now that it's once again adding more stocks fundamentally, more stores fundamentally, and picking up some momentum. Do you see this sentiment reflect on the charts as well? Is it looking positive?
Yes, if you look at Trent, I think it is giving a very strong positive move. Yesterday, the stock was up, I think, nearly 2-3%, and today also there is a follow-up action. So the overall tone for Trent looks to be positive and giving a breakout on the upside of a consolidation triangle pattern. We can expect the stock to move towards the level of 5,800 over near term, and on the downside, one can maintain a stop loss of around 5,200 levels.